Hi everyone, my name is Tara Hammis and I'm with the Massachusetts Councils on Aging. Every town's Council on Aging and Senior Center is an important part of the community. They provide a variety of services from programming to transportation to community outreach and of course, nutrition. This Cooking as Self-Care series that MCOA has created has been brought to you in part by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts as well as Mass Access, who's dedicated to providing quality programming. I hope you'll enjoy what's next. We're starting early today, I am warm right now. Happy spring, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Tara Hammis, and I am with the Massachusetts Councils on Aging, which you may or may not already know. Depending on the day, this could actually stand for MCOA, like more cats on account of we're in the kitchen and somebody wants some attention. Fortunately, not right now. We are fast into our fourth segment, of Cooking as Self-Care. And this month we are going to focus on diversity and longevity. How are they related, you might ask? You might not, but I'm still going to tell you. So we already know that eating plenty of fruits and vegetables is a good thing. Hopefully you are also doing that, eating a variety of foods from all of the different food groups. And the reason is the greater variety of foods that we consume, the better it will be for our health. And what do I mean by that? I mean that it may help prevent some types of diseases and in turn help us live longer and healthier lives. So we're going to talk today about two different types of things, a little bit about fighting aging and about longevity. They may not seem too different, but we're going to differentiate them just a smidge. The first part we will tackle before delving into our recipe today, which is right behind me. We're going to do a little pulao today, which is a rice dish. And this is pulao with crispy cinnamon chickpeas. This is going to be a whole lot of flavor. Quite the combination, which you may or may not enjoy. Again, you can always change it up if you don't like to combine the two components. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Let me back it up and take it down a notch. So, fighting aging, we will talk about. But first I want to talk a little bit about longevity. Live long and prosper, as Mr. Spock would say. Mr. Spock from Star Trek, not Star Wars, played by Massachusetts' own Leonard Nimoy, who is also, by the way, from Boston. Which neighborhood? The West End. So this is very fitting that we're going to talk a little bit about longevity today. So there are a number of areas around the globe that have a high number of centenarians, so folks who've lived to be 100 or older. And you might have heard about these areas in something called the Blue Zones Project. And there are a number of longevity diets out there. And by diet, you know, we always mean meal plan. But in looking at the Blue Zones Project and specific cities and regions across the globe, they found a number of similarities. And while we're going to focus on the diet piece today, that's only one of the components. Those areas are Nicoya, Costa Rica, Icaria, Greece, Sardinia, Italy, Loma Linda, California, and I might be missing one. Oh, Okinawa, Japan, of course. And what I did was I took a recipe. This pulao is from the Blue Zone's meal planner, and it's Costa Rican influenced. So we're gonna go ahead and make that one today. Sound like a plan? Okay. Whew, it's hot in here. It's spring. The weather's warming up, which means the sun is combined with the warmer
air, and it makes me warmer in here. Plus, you know, we ladies get a little older. We get a little warmer.
I feel like I had a little wash and set today, so I'm not going to complain because the hair is growing, and that's what I'm really happy about, among other things. All right, let's start with this beautiful recipe. Pulao with crispy cinnamon chickpeas. It's a simple recipe in that there are not a lot of ingredients and not a lot of steps, but it takes a little bit of time. Don't let that scare you off. We just got to plan it out, and you're really just sort of sitting around waiting during part of it. So you can cook it and watch me, or cook it while you're watching the news, or cook it while you're watching Star Trek. Your choice. Let's start with the part that takes the longest, and that is making the chickpeas. So I have our lovely little baking tray right here, which, you know what, let's put that in front. It's simple. I'm going to take a can, doesn't have to be any specific brand, 1 can of chickpeas, garbanzo beans, which we've already drained and rinsed. Definitely want to rinse them, especially if you want to decrease the amount of gas and or bloating that's happening down below. You know, I like to coat things as uniformly as possible, so we're going to go ahead and do that in a bowl and not right on the tray, which you can do if you want. Another dish to clean, but that's okay, it's just one. 1 can of chickpeas, and in the recipe you'll see that we need 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon of olive oil, which is 4 teaspoons of olive oil. And we need those divided because we're going to take 2 teaspoons of the olive oil and add it to, there's just a little piece of lint flying around, which I don't really want in my chickpeas. Cat hair is one thing, chickpeas not so much. Just kidding, kind of. Okay, so whoops, there's 1 teaspoon of oil, and then we'll have a second one-ish. Again, we're not baking, so we don't have to be super precise, and olive oil contains the unsaturated fats, which are better for us. We also need 1 teaspoon of cinnamon divided. So this is going to require 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Oh, it smells so good. Cinnamon is such a good spice. It goes with so many things. It's good for so many parts of our body, specifically brain health. It's wonderfully applicable. And I'm happy that we're going to be able to make it a little crispy baked deliciousness here. Okay, chickpeas, oil, teaspoon of cinnamon. We got to stir them up. I forgot to get a little spoon out. Use whatever you want. Big wooden spoon, nice little teaspoon. One of the nice things I like about doing this series in my own kitchen is that it's my own kitchen. This is what I have. It's a lovely kitchen, don't get me wrong. But there are a number of programs out there that are in big, beautiful commercial kitchens, professional kitchens with the mirror down, and you can see what's happening in here. And then there are other shows that come from smaller kitchens, less new kitchens. There's even one that comes, it's a program called My Little Kitchen. Yep, I knew I was going to say it because I knew I was going to go ahead and bleep that out. Okay, so go ahead. 3 ingredients: oil, cinnamon, chickpeas. Mix them up, throw them on your lovely little tray. It doesn't make a lot. This recipe serves 2 people, or makes 2 servings. So if you are cooking for 1, you can have it for 2 meals. Or if you want to make a larger batch, you can keep it in the fridge or freeze parts of it and have it a couple of times during the week. Okay, so you're going to take the chickpeas and put them in your oven at 350 degrees for 45 minutes. And we're going to stir them halfway through the cooking time. Let's see. All right. My oven is just about at 350, so it's going to beep on me probably. You really should not put your ingredients in until your oven is heated up all the way, but we're pretty close, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Plus, I want to get the ball rolling today. The next thing we're going to do is get to work on our rice itself. So let's take, quietly, kind of. All right. It's not a professional kitchen, so you can't see me as I'm adding these beautiful ingredients, but work with me. What do we need here? We are going to take about a half cup of brown rice. This is just a little bit over a half cup because I had a little bit left over in one container and I didn't want to have to try to put it back in the bag. So I'm like, let's just throw it in there. It's rice, it's fine, it's all good. So we'll throw the rice in here. Put this in our sink, which collects all of our garbage in our dirty dishes as we go along. And as you know, I like to use the bouillon that is in the paste that I reconstitute with water myself. So we're going to take about a cup and a half of stock and add that to the rice. Yes, we are. What else do we need? I think I can remember. Oh, we need about, how much of the cloves? Half teaspoon of cloves, which I measured out. It's about 10. Now remember, when you are eating this, you want to remove the cloves or just be very careful as you're taking a few bites. They're not the best things to ingest whole, and they don't really taste that great if you accidentally eat them. And yes, I am speaking from experience. Okay, Tara's got jokes as usual. Rice, stock, cloves, and the 2 teaspoons of oil. We're going to put all of this in our pot, which, yes, I know my pot is a little bit larger than it needs to be for this, but this is the pot I have, and so we're going to use what we have. Like, seriously, this comes up to about here, but whatever. I am not Julia Child. So we will take this, we'll stir it on up. Oh, it smells so good already. This is another one of those recipes. See, I get ahead of myself and I get so excited I can't talk. But this is another one of those recipes that just makes your house smell fabulous. Between the cloves in the rice and the cinnamon on the chickpeas, be a good dish for fall. But it's April and we're going with it. Okay, so you are going to cover this, bring it to a boil, turn it down to low, let it simmer for about 20 minutes. So we are going to go ahead and crank this puppy up. Oop. Yes, we are. And we will cover it. 350 has been reached. So now, you know what we will do? We will set our timer, I think. Okay, the pressure, timer, 20. We're gonna start. So in 20 minutes, I'll go ahead and stir the chickpeas, and then in 20 minutes, we'll go ahead and work on the second half of the rice recipe. Okay, we've stirred the chickpeas halfway through. We brought the rice to a boil, let it simmer, and we made an executive decision when we opened the lid and made sure everything was progressing. Since the cloves were right on top of the surface, they were easy to see, we scooped them out. Probably going to taste just as good, and it was an easy thing to do since the stock was flavored with the cloves. We could still keep it in there for the next part, that's the way we're going to do it. Again, you could do it however you like. But stick with me. The next part of the recipe is adding the vegetables. We have one zucchini, which is lovely, and we have one carrot, which is less lovely, but still just as good for us. And I've already gone and rinsed and lightly scrubbed these. You don't need to peel them. Give them a scrub. You want to take off the visible soil. Your produce does not need to be sanitized before it goes into a dish that you're cooking, especially if something that you're going to go ahead and boil. It's going to kill a lot of the pathogens in there. And whether you use your hands or a cute little googly-eyed potato scrub brush is up to you. So let's go ahead and dice these little buggers up. Yes, we're making some noise. That's all right. All right. We all know Tara does not have the best knife skills, so we are going to just go with it because she's still going to get the veggies chopped, aren't we? Isn't she? Oh, third person. Okay, so I know we mentioned before about not cutting our fingers, eating from other cultures. And again, that's one way to increase the types of nutrients that you are going to consume, because if we eat the same things all the time, we're really selling ourselves short. We want to try different foods. Even if we don't want to try different foods, go ahead and do it. Even just a little bit. You don't have to completely change every single thing that you eat, but go ahead and try a few different items. Round out your palate, increase your experiences, increase your appreciation for other foods and cultures and cooking methods. By doing this, you are going to consume not only a greater variety of nutrients, but also a different amount. The banner might be swaying because we have one of our little critters down below rubbing his face on it. I think I should rename this Cooking with the Crazy Cat Lady Show. Cooking Crazy Cat. Yeah, that doesn't work, but that's okay. It is what it is. All right. We mentioned the blue zones were one project of different types of longevity diets, but there are others out there as well, and even the Mediterranean diet is one of them. Has a bit of a faith slant to it, a Christian faith slant to it. There is a calorie restriction diet, which some of you may have heard about. I think it was popular, it was on like a PBS show several years ago. I mean, like a dozen years ago or so, although it's been around even longer. And I actually remember making something from that once before, and it was just filled with, no, bye-bye, bye-bye, kitty, love you. It was filled with a number of vegetables and grains and legumes, and the one recipe made a ton of food. I remember making it, and I was just, I didn't even have a bowl big enough to put everything in there. Excuse me, I'm a little warm. And it tasted fine, but it isn't something that I would want to eat over and over and over again, even though there was a variety of foods in it. The Blue Zones diet and a number of these longevity diets have several things in common. They are primarily plant-based. I'm watching this little bugger right here. They don't contain a large amount of sodium, and they definitely limit sugar and dairy foods. Beans are consumed daily. Fatty fish like salmon is consumed several times a week. And then meat is used maybe a couple of times a month and in smaller quantities, like maybe, the size of a deck of cards, as we often hear. And then the other commonality they have is that they do have whole grains, but again, those are in smaller quantities. And folks who employ the longevity diets, they also eat until they're about 80% full, so they don't stuff themselves. They eat a little bit more mindfully and slower and stop right when they feel comfortable. This helps with portion control as well as a little bit of calorie restriction. And most of the food that is consumed in the morning and the afternoon, whereas at dinner time it's going to be like a light supper. Okay. Oh, come on, come on, come on. You're going to get moved. You're lucky I'm done chopping. Are you in the frame? Yes, you are. Oliver, it's usually your brother Oscar up here. Do you want a little carrot? Go get it. Oh, that was, all right. No more fooling around. Right. Okay, let's add our zucchini and carrot to the pot. I don't know why I'm singing it, and that lid was hot. Ooh. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay. Okay. The other thing that we're going to do with adding the vegetables is add, what else do we have to have? A little more of the cinnamon? Yes. The rest of the cinnamon, which was a half teaspoon. Whew. Put that little sucker in there. And then it's optional, but you can add a pinch or so of ground cardamom. Ah, kitty, kitty cat. We're just going to go ahead and do a little tappy tappy, sis boom bappy. Oop, that was maybe a little more than a pinch. But you know. Stir it up, little darling, stir it up. Mm-hmm. This is looking very delicious. The water is definitely getting absorbed. We have to All right, we're going to keep simmering for 20 minutes. We just want to make sure that most of the water is absorbed. And right before the rice is done cooking, you're going to add about a quarter cup of dried apricots to the pot. This just gives it a little bit of sweetness. It's got some nice fiber, some phytonutrients in there. Right, Ollie? This cat will eat anything, even though he shouldn't. Honey, I think I need to put you on a little Blue Zone diet so you live longer and you lose a couple. You could lose a couple of pounds, but we'll get there. We'll get there. It's COVID. We're overeating, we're overfeeding, we're all acting a little detrimentally to our health, aren't we? Kiss? I'm thinking I might not have some cat lovers on this show, but we'll see. Let's get that out of the way of the meowie. Right, buddy? Okay, we're gonna move in. Since we're done with the food, say hello. Oh. Okay, hop down. Okay, and we're gonna wash our hands now. All right, so we're talking about longevity diets, and in turn, what we're really talking about is fighting aging. But what is aging? What is it? It's a little bit hard to really figure out why it happens. We know that it is the breakdown of cells or a loss of molecular fidelity, if you will. It's a change in our actual biomolecules. So we know that if there's a change in our cells, that will mean there's a change in the tissue and a change in our organs, which is the catalyst to a change in one of our systems. So that could be hormones, it could be cardiovascular, it could be a number of systems. Oh, I have cat hair stuck on my face, sorry. Whew. And there are different types of changes that occur in the cells. The cells could become larger, and so it's harder for them to divide and multiply, replicate like they need to for turnover. The cells could have a loss of function, or they can have a change of function, so then the tissues and the organs and the systems don't work like they should. The cell walls, I know, let me have a drink here. the cell walls could change so that it's harder for nutrients to get in and harder for cell waste products to get out. So what we really need research to do is focus on why these cell changes occur. We really need to dedicate more to specifically what is happening, and then how do we prevent that, whether it is eating differently or if there is some sort of magic bullet. The bottom line is there's no way to predict how any of us will age. And as I mentioned before with the Blue Zones project, that the diet is just one of the traits to the centenarians living longer lives. All right, we're going to go ahead and take the chickpeas out of the oven because they are just about done. You can hear they're getting a little harder, a little firm. And let's go ahead and plate this because I think I'm done with this one for now. I'm going to go ahead and take about half of the rice, carrots, zucchini with the spices and the broth. And I am very happy that it is also dinner time for me. So we'll have that's about half, maybe a little bit less. We'll go ahead and see if we can get some of these chickpeas on here. I could put this on a plate, but I'm a little clumsy and it might topple off here. So as you can see, this is a nice little dish. It has a lot of flavor. The chickpeas are hot. Meow, that's right. Those are yummy. But I think I say that about look, I'm doing the food dance. They're good. I do that about every recipe that we make. So I hope you will enjoy this recipe. I hope that you'll take some of this information to heart and may it give you a little bit more life left to your years. That was really corny, but work with me. I hope it was helpful. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you return next month when we talk about eating for better sleep. Be well, and I will see you soon. Good, 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 good. Honey, can you hop down? I hope you enjoyed the program. This is just one of the ways the Councils on Aging are serving folks statewide. If you're looking for more information, please contact your local Council on Aging by calling them or visiting their website. Thank you and be well.